constituency. Mr. Speaker, I am from Niger State, APC. Mr. Speaker, I'm coming under Order 8, Rule 4, motion of urgent public importance. I therefore seek that the House should consider my motion very important to suspend our rules to enable me take the motion. Mr. Speaker, the motion is about lack of internal democracy in the conduct of party primaries towards 2019 election. I so move, Mr. Speaker.
Seconder to the first limb, Honorable Betty. Give Honorable Betty the mic, please.
Mr. Speaker, honorable colleagues, my name is Betty Apiafi. I represent Abuado Lahoda Israel.
Mr. Speaker, I am from Niger State, APC. Mr. Speaker, as I said earlier, my motion of today is on the lack of internal democracy in the conduct of party primaries towards 2019 primary or towards the 2019 elections. The House notes the conduct of congresses/primaries by political parties to nominate candidates to contest the various positions in the 2019 general elections. Aware that by the provision of the Electoral Act, it's mandated to INEC is mandated to supervise all congresses of political parties. Note that the congresses/primaries of all political parties are regulated by the constitution of the parties and the Electoral Act. Worried by widespread reports of irregularities that attended the congresses of the parties held between September and the first week of October 2018. Disturbed that many of the parties in many states neglected or failed to adhere to the provision of both the constitution of their parties and the Electoral Act with regard to the holding of primaries. Further disturbed that some of the parties presently refuse to hold primaries in contravention of Section 87(10) of the Electoral Act, which makes it mandatory for parties to hold primaries, thereby leading to crisis in some state chapters of some political parties. Concerned that governors in many states interfered with the elections by either imposing their preferred stooges as candidates on the parties and ensure that some aspirants were denied the right to participate or were shortchanged in the election after paying huge amounts to obtain nomination forms. Further concerned that if legislative measures are not adopted to address this dangerous drift, the National Assembly may in the nearest future be the assemblage of governors' stooges to the detriment of our democracy and the interests of the electorate. Further disturbed that the act of selling nomination forms to aspirants at exorbitant rates, even when the leaders of the parties had predetermined the winners, amount to injustice and corruption. Concerned that some parties sell forms at exorbitant rates and do not explain or justify their expenses. Further disturbed that in some cases, even where clear winners emerged in the primaries, the results were altered and other persons declared as winners and made the flag bearers of the parties in such contests, thereby shortchanging the democratic will of the electorate and violating the law, particularly Section 87(3) and 4 of the Electoral Act. Worried that the crisis in the parties has generated many litigations which may spill over into the tenure of the next government, as some of them may not be terminated before the end of tenure of this government. And in some cases, there were violent attacks, including burning of properties, maiming and killing of people. Resolved that 1, to constitute an ad hoc committee to investigate the violation of Electoral Act by political parties with the collusion or acquiescence of INEC, with a view of correcting any defect in the Electoral Act or strengthening the Electoral Act and other laws, including the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, in order to improve our electoral processes and democracy, to report to the House within 4 weeks. 2, ascertain the income and expenses of the major political parties in the last 4 years, in line with Section 226 of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Mr. Speaker, my dear colleagues, I so submit.